Atlanta, Georgia, the city that tops Forbes' 2018 list of places where African Americans are doing the best economically. Home to, about 18 of the Fortune 500 companies, and arguably the best place outside of New York and Los Angeles for filmmaking, aka Black Hollywood. For young blacks especially, this seems like a place where you can have it all. Or can you? What about finding the one? I sat down with a group of young black and single men and women who are navigating the often murky waters of dating in Atlanta.
My name is Taji Ra Aten. I am 25 and I am single because dating in Atlanta is almost impossible.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a meaningful relationship with someone that wants a long-lasting relationship.
And why has that been difficult to find?
Because I think in Atlanta, and because of technology and social media, we have more of like online fantasies in the dating world. And I think people just want casual encounters and just to have casual affairs.
I'm Diamante. I'm 24. I'm single because I'm indecisive. I look for a lot in a woman, and sometimes I have commitment issues.
What do you think about your choices here in Atlanta for dating?
I think you have a lot of choices just because Atlanta is a very diverse place. You meet a lot of women from a lot of different places. However, I feel like a lot of the women here, they look for a lot from a man too soon.
Do you think women in Atlanta have their expectations set too high?
I wouldn't say too high, but being that there is an influx of women in here, I feel like they will meet a guy, have consensual relationships with them, and then expect them to treat them like a queen, which I don't respect.
And how many women do you casually talk to?
Casually talk to?
At one time, at the same time?
At one time. I say 2 at the most. The reason why I say that is just because I've learned that every woman is a responsibility. It's a time that you have to commit to them. And being that you have your own personal things going on, you have work going on, you may have school going on, having more than one woman is kind of like having 3 jobs.
My name's Ramel Taylor, and I am 29 years old, and I am single because it's powerful.
What are you looking for in a guy?
Someone who's open-minded, someone who's very spiritual, and also available to grow. And when I mean by grow, it means like to continue to learn. So.
Okay. How long have you been single?
For 2 years.
What's different about your community in terms of the dating scene? Do you feel like there's the same kind of lack of commitment?
I absolutely think it is about lack of commitment as well. We're like in a world that everything is so fast-paced, and that it's all about what Caesar was saying, like it's the side piece, and it's so complicated. It's like a dysphoria or of a community that's like can be hypersexual and also can be intellectual. And I feel like Atlanta is like it's a cross between. It's a huge mix-up.
Where do you typically meet guys?
Mostly dating apps, and we're in the tech-savvy world now, so it's mostly dating apps. I would love to meet someone like at Starbucks, just getting a coffee, or like Dunkin' Donuts because they have great tea, and just bump into them like, oh my God.
I'm Rayshawn Smith. I'm 28 years old, and I am single because I haven't found nobody compatible, and I'm looking for like that black love, like that Michelle Obama type love. Sometimes I feel like I gotta move out of Atlanta to find it.
So you're willing to leave Atlanta to find love?
Yeah, I'm about tired of Atlanta. Yeah.
How long have you been single?
Going on 2 years.
In any given month, how many dates would you go on?
2 dates.
How many of those dates make it to a second date?
Maybe 1.
Okay.
Maybe.
Are women's expectations too high?
Not really. No. But sometimes I feel like women kind of pressure the guy. So say for instance, I meet someone, we go on a date. Then probably the second date, a woman might be like, so what are we? Where are we going? So I feel like a woman should just don't put no pressure on a guy and just let things flow.
Okay. Do you date interracially?
No. As I mentioned earlier, black love is what I'm looking for. But I think I want to experiment, maybe.
Do you think your chances would be better?
Maybe. I just don't know how to approach it. So, I like to though. See what's the difference.
What's your biggest complaint, aside from the pressure of maybe committing too soon, but what's your biggest pet peeve about Atlanta women?
Atlanta women? Oh. I feel like Atlanta women feel like everything is like love and hip hop, like what they see on TV. Like they feel like a guy should have this and that, this car, this jewelry, this clothes, this fashion.
My name is Rainy Cates. I am 28 years old and I'm single in Atlanta because I don't know how to date in 2018.
How long have you been single?
I've been single going on 4 years now.
And what do you think the issue is?
To be honest, hoes are winning. And I'm more of a modest person. I come from a religious background. I came from a two-parent home, not to say that, you know, that's a teeter-totter for people who are more promiscuous, but I was taught that I was a prize to be won and you should fight for me, you should court me. And guys these days think on the first date you should be putting out and tell me why I should have a second date. So I'm single.
And what type of man are you looking for?
I'm looking for a man who has a great personality, a great smile, romantic, ambitious, youthful, someone who enjoys having fun but can also have intellectual conversations. I'm looking for someone who can expose me to things, to brighten my horizon, to teach me things just as I teach him things.
In any given month, how many dates do you go on?
None. I just, coming to Atlanta is not a big market for dating. So, attempts to go on dates never go too well because I would say outside of working, I might meet guys, exchange numbers, but they never go past texting. So after a while I get bored and we just lose connect.
I'll approach a girl, get her number, and she wouldn't give me the time of day. And I'm just like, I approached you. I was respectable. I didn't call you, hey, what's up? How you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, you got to realize that one apple will spoil the whole bunch. And so being in Atlanta, you might be that good apple, but if you're in a bag full of rotten apples, why would I give you the attention? Because if I bite into it and you're rotten on the inside, I've wasted my time yet again.
That proves my point. So is it easier for men or women?
It's still easier for you because you being a heterosexual man can walk past me and talk to her. I walk past you and the next guy that walks by is a homosexual. What field do I have to play in? You have the pick of the litter.
Who else is on the apps?
So yeah, I use Tinder. Tinder more of a hookup site, and that's cool. But I'm at the point where I want something more. So I heard about Bumble. So I've been on Bumble. It's quality on there, but it's more Caucasian women.
Okay.
And they don't normally match with me.
Okay.
So my dad introduced me to blackpeoplemeet.com. Like the old-fashioned way.
Right.
I hopped on there and my inbox is jumping.
First questions, what do you like to do? What interests you? What's your favorite color? Different things like that. So then when you plan a date and it's like left field, like you didn't hear anything I said as far as planning a date. Like let's say I love ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I love ice cream. Ice cream makes me so happy, whatever. When you plan a date and you're like, you took me to this 5-star restaurant with the serving size of this small, and you're like, she's going to love it because I spent $100. And I'm like, I just wanted, Cold Stone. Like you could have took me to Cold Stone and we would have had a blast, but you didn't listen to me. So is it like with guys, are you just trying to impress with money? Or when you go on dates, do you say, let me cater this date to something that would interest her?
I feel like in Atlanta, the guy try to press the woman with money. It's all about money. They females go for the guy that's in the club popping bottles and etc. I said that's in Atlanta though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Ohio. I would have caught that hint easy. Oh, let's go get some ice cream. So in Atlanta, I feel like that's how it is.
It's flashy.
Now, are women materialistic in Atlanta?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Just to answer your question, I feel like it's more so about the women. I mean, the man actually listens to what you want as a woman. He's already has his mind made up as far as how to please you. And most of the time, it's not even about impressing you. It's because he doesn't really want you. He wants to get to your pants. And the way he knows how to get to your pants is by doing what all the other guys are doing. Being flashy, throwing the dollar bills, being someone who's always, just flashy with everything that he does. I've met a lot of women that, like, their first date is kind of going to a restaurant, which I don't mind. Money comes and goes. But it's like, if I'm investing my time and my money into you, don't put me in a recycling bin either. Because I have a lot of women that I'll take out, and a week later, they're out with somebody else doing the same thing. And I'm just like, I'm not counting my money, but it's like, you have me in a what did you, assembly line too? And I'm just like, I could have saved my money and just took a girl to a park and did something simple.
But don't you think that can be remedied by being intentional? So if you took her out on a date, but your overarching message is, I'm not trying to get married tomorrow. I'm not. Don't let things flow. Let things work. So she's doing what you're doing. She's hedging her bets. Like, I really like him. He's handsome. He's funny. He's smart. Whatever. But I'm going to go out on this date because he wasn't intentional. He didn't meet me and say, you know what? You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. I like your smile. Let's, you know what? Cancel all the rest of your dates. Let's see what me and you can be. If you were intentional, you wouldn't have to worry about what she was doing.
What do you mean by intentional? Like straightforward?
Meaning you're saying, this is my intent. I'm looking for something real. As we all say that we are. I'm looking for something real. So I'm going to let you know what my intentions are. I'm not necessarily trying to get married tomorrow, but I like you. And I'm willing to set aside my other options right now. I could pick them back up at any given time, and you can too. But I'm going to be intentional with you and let you know this is where I'm at. So let's just see where it's going to be. You could shut that. Men have the power to, if she likes you, to shut that down at any given moment. That way you don't have to worry about whether or not she's going out on a date next week or next month or whatever, because you stated your intentions. And 9 times out of 10, she's like, oh my gosh.
I feel like we don't do that as guys, though. We don't do that. We don't sit up women down and be like, we want this, we want that. We just go with the flow. Like I said, but women do that, though.
And I think it's like a big miscommunication in the beginning, too. Like, to kind of chime in on your point earlier, when the woman is not used to getting good stuff, when she's get treated by a good man, she automatically thinks that they're together. And as far as like the man, if they don't establish the basis in the beginning, as far as, okay, this is where I am, this is what I'm looking for. And I've been in a situation where I'll tell a woman what I'm looking for, or I'll tell a woman what I'm not looking for, and I'm not looking for anything. And they'll still try to kind of hang me on a leash, like, you said that we were going to be together, or you've been treating me good, and we've been doing all this. But I'm just like, but I told you in the beginning. Right. You tried to change my mind.
She didn't listen.
Yeah.
Or she thought she could change you.
Yeah.
Or
we do that a lot.
Yeah, and I think women are guilty of that. Or you tell her what you want, and then she tries to become that.
Right. That's why I don't tell females what I'm looking for, what I'm like. They just gotta figure it out.
You make them guess.
How do we feel about dating someone with kids? Is it a deal breaker?
I think it's almost. Well, see, I think you have the luxury of saying that. I think millennials have that luxury. It depends how many kids. And it's not even so much the kids. How many different, are we baby mamas, baby daddies, a couple ex-wives, it gets real out there. Like, I met a guy with 5 kids between 3 different women. So even if I like you, and this is this is Auntie Cherie talking now. Before $1 comes into our household, that's 3 different sets of child support, and that's how you think as you get. You know what I mean? Whereas, if you're younger, you're like, oh, he's so cute, and I enjoy being with him, and he's so funny, and we're ha 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 when those bills come in. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so it just depends. So I think it's hard to find people without children. I don't have any children, and because I probably won't, I'm okay with a guy having 1 or 2, preferably not too young, not a 6-month-old. I met a guy with a 6-month-old way too soon. Like, no. But preferably, manageable. They can, not in diapers. They can tell me they're hungry, and they can use the bathroom on their own. I'm good with that. Yeah.
My viewing on that is a little different. I hold marriage and stuff sacred, and I would like to be my husband's first on a lot of things. To say I was your first wife, I was the first mother of your children, you know, things of that nature. And I also, I'm pretty selfish right now being in my 20s. It's like, if we have set up and planned an event that we're going to, we're really excited, we've been talking about it, and then your child gets sick or your child needs you. Of course, being that father, your child does come first, but how am I supposed to feel? Like, I'm excited. Now I have to put my feelings to the side because you have to be a father, but I knew what I was getting myself into. So I have to realize me being selfish right now and knowing where I want to be. I just avoid those type of situations. I can't say in the future that I won't embark on that, but right now, if I'm like, hey, how you doing? And it comes up that you have kids, it's like, close that door because you know how you feel.
Straight deal breaker with you.
Yes.
What about you? Baby mama, baby?
Deal breaker because
Deal breaker.
I'm not seeking guys that have kids, you know? There's a lot of men out here that don't. I've come across them. I've dated them. I'm not going to settle for anyone with kids because I'm not going to love that child as much as I love our child.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's true. I mean, I'm going to have love for
Yeah.
them.
Very frank.
But I'm not going to love that child how I love our child.
Or put that child in front of the child you share between you and he.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I think me personally, it's a deal breaker. The only reason why I say that is just because if I meet a woman that already has kids, that means she's already ahead of me in that aspect. And not saying that she can't be ahead of me, but that means she has different type of responsibilities than I have, different type of priorities. Her mind is at different places. And me being younger, it's like I don't want to have to rush my growth to kind of match you. And if you have kids already, then I don't want to have to become a father just to match your kids. Now, if we have a kid together at a young age, that's different. If we meet and you bringing something to the table and I'm bringing something else, and if a kid is one of them, it's like, it's like I know I'm not there yet, so I don't want to have to force myself to be there just because you're there.
Top 3 things you want to know when you meet somebody.
What's your favorite color? I'm just kidding.
I want to know where she from, how long she been single, and pretty much what she like to do. Because when a female tell me where she from, I kind of like judge them. I kind of like, oh, is she from New Orleans? She used to this and she used to that. So, yeah.
I like to ask, what do you like to do for fun? Like, what's your pastime? I really do like ice cream, so it's like, what's your favorite ice cream? And I don't know. It's up in the air because I'm an ambitious type person, so I'm like, when I go out, I like to do adventurous stuff. Like, don't just sit me down across from each other. Like, you'll get to know me more so like on a competitive aspect, you know, like let's go do things. So I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't say when was your last relationship, or once we got into the conversation, why did your last relationship end? You know. So that's something. I don't care if it was last month or 2 years ago. What was the disconnect between you and your ex, and why did it come to an end?
Mine would be more goals. Where do you see yourself far as in the future? Where your plans are, and also what are your spirituality? Because I think that's a huge thing. Because I'm an energy person, I can tell right off the bat by being a person about whether they BS or they worth my time, and they zodiac sign.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay, for me, when I go on dates, I usually ask where they're from because, you know, that matters. I usually ask if they have kids or not because that's very important to me.
Yes.
I don't have kids and I like to travel. Thirdly, I ask them, do they like to travel? Because I'm big on traveling.
All questions I would have asked in my 20s. At my age, I want to know, are you married now? Have you ever been married? Are you legally divorced with the papers and the receipts? Do you have children? How many? And are you gainfully employed? Those would be my top 3 for sure. Because a lot of those are non-starters. If you answer the wrong question to any of those 3, then it's a wrap.
I usually ask them, like, definitely where you're from, what makes you happy, where do you see yourself about 10 to 20 years? Not saying that you would know, but just at least envision it, and what are the top 3 important things to you? Because I like to know a woman's priorities, just because
I have my own priorities straight. You have to have your priorities straight. And that, not saying that I have to be a priority to you, but you know what I'm saying. You just have to know your values.
That's a good question. So, I just see different answers. When you go out on a date, whomever it is, when you go to this date, are you looking for longevity or are you just getting to know the person? Because it's like with the different answers that we gave, like with you, the answers that you asked, it looks like you're looking for longevity, you know? With where I am right now in my life, the questions that I ask, I mean, I'm open to getting to know you, but it's okay if we just stay friends, you know? The questions that you ask, it's like you're looking for longevity. Like you're literally going on dates to try to see, will this girl last, you know? So it's like when you go on dates, regardless on how many that you go on, are you looking for something to just be as of now or something for the future?
When I go on a date, I'm looking to see where it goes. And if the chemistry there, the vibe there, I ask her for another date. Just see where it goes. Just where the vibe at.
Me personally, I don't go on dates like that. So if we go on a date, it's longevity. Just because I'm big on my time, I'm big on my patience, I'm big on my money. And if I'm actually asking you to go out somewhere, I'll actually see something in you. And I want to see what it is.
Same here, whether gay or straight, I agree, because I always thought like a date means that you are actually, you pursuing something, a commitment, rather than what everyone's doing now. It's just like, oh, I just getting the vibe with you. Oh, you can vibe with me over the phone. But don't waste my time and my emotions.
See, I'm just looking to have fun initially, but I just want to see how it flows, how it goes, if we have a connection or not. Because if we don't have a connection, then
I think ultimately it's about finding somebody that's in the same space at the same time that you are, right? Because you can meet somebody and that person's there, they're ready for whatever, and you're just not. But then you might meet one person after that, and that person has that extra ingredient that makes you say, you know what? Okay, I think So it's about finding the right thing at the right time, but I think the main thing is distraction. I think there's too many distractions.
Distractions are really big just because, especially in millennials, everybody has their own stuff going on and everybody's idea is just about self. So a lot of people really don't, sometimes they may like a girl, but they don't really care about her time, her quality time, or what she has going on in her mind. Like most of the time when I meet a woman, some of the questions I even first ask her is like, what are you thinking about? What's going on in your mind? Like what are your daily hassles? Just because what she's going through tells you like what to expect as far as conversation.
But even you asking what she's going through is not because you care, because you want to know how what she's going through is going to affect you.
No.
Which sounds selfish.
Me personally,
Yeah.
no, I don't mean to make it sound like that. Me personally, when I ask her to know, like, because when I know what your thoughts are, I can kind of help you in a way. I can kind of approach you differently, just because I know what you're going through. I can be there for you. Whereas if you're kind of just telling me what you want me to hear, it's kind of hard for me to kind of be quality or be someone that's different from the rest of the people that you already have.
As it relates to my dating experience in Atlanta, I am hopeful that
I will find love.
That I will find the perfect guy.
My Prince Charming.
My companionship.
I'm hopeful that I'll find the one that's meant for me.
What are they taking you?